As the war in Gaza completes 2 years today, we're now being joined by Eylon Levy, current spokesman for Israeli government and former international media advisor to the President of Israel, and Ahmad Al-Ibrahim, political analyst. Welcome both to the broadcast.
Thank you. Good morning. I should just clarify I'm a former spokesman for the Israeli government, not current.
Thank you so much for correcting me, sir. Mr. Levy, let me just come to you first. It's 2 years since the war began. Trump has put forth a 20-point peace plan as well. Hamas has agreed in part. It's a conditional agreement. Do you find that once again we're back to square one, where everything once again, and as has been the case from the start, hinges on the release of all hostages, dead or alive, and further negotiations? Are we looking at another stalled peace deal?
Look, after Hamas launched this barbaric war 2 years ago with the October 7th massacre, Israel said it has two goals: to release all of the hostages and to dismantle Hamas so that it can never again invade Israel, burn families alive in their homes, commit mass sexual atrocities, and take hostages again. Now, Hamas is more isolated than it has ever been. Even its state sponsors, Qatar and Turkey, are telling it it's game over and it has to free the hostages. And so I'm hopeful that now we will have a ransom deal that will see Hamas releasing those poor hostages who are stuck in the dungeons under Gaza, where they are being starved and tortured. That does leave the question of Hamas's disarmament. But the United States has made very clear in that plan that has been accepted by the whole Arab world, either Hamas dismantles itself or Israel will have no choice but to dismantle Hamas itself. Because if this war ends with the jihadi terrorist organization that launched this war still in possession of rockets, still in possession of tunnels, still in possession of its weapons, then the next war is a matter of time. And nobody wants that. This has to be the last Gaza war.
Right, and that is part of the 20-point peace plan, isn't it? That Hamas needs to demilitarize all tunnels and such infrastructure is to be destroyed. To which I want to come to you now, Mr. Al-Ibrahim. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. Now, what's your take on this? Do you think we're looking at a stalled peace deal? Do you think we're back to square one?
First of all, definitely I would like to say now it's 2 years today, and nothing justifies Hamas' atrocity of taking hostages. This is given, but also nothing justifies war crimes either, and genocide Israel conducted in the Gaza and the West Bank repeatedly has crossed a bright red lines that is not acceptable. The proportionality that they are doing, the distinction of starvation of civilian, killing innocent people, genociding people, this is all unacceptable, and this is actually has been raised by the International Criminal Court. As far as putting Hamas at the same plate of the Palestinian people, we need to distinguish what's Hamas and what the Palestinian people. The Palestinian people has nothing to do with what Hamas is doing. Saudi Arabia since 2005 has recognized Hamas as a terrorist organization, militia, whatever called. At the same time, since that day, Tel Aviv was actually paying the salaries of the Hamas leaders, since 2005, and this is where it tells you the position and where it's basically, who's fighting, who is in the back. So I am not optimistic, to be honest with you. I think this current government led by Netanyahu is not really looking for peace. We have seen a change of the tone of President Donald Trump with Netanyahu, and the aggressive push in basically accepting the deal. I think this is something is subject for Israel to accept. I think the militia Hamas has played game, and they accepted what the whole proposal by Donald Trump, and now we are waiting. Everybody feel, the whole pan-Arab nations feel that Israel is going to come with another twist, and they're going to end up doing something that is actually going to fail this peace. But at least this time, President Trump is more alert, and he's putting his fingers on the pulse.
Mr. Ali Ibrahim, thank you so much for that. Mr. Levy, let me just come back to you, and I just want to expand on the point that Mr. Ali Ibrahim has made. Do you think there are certain major questions that have been left vague in this 20-point peace plan, that is of legitimacy, inclusion and enforceability, and of course the very survival of a Palestinian state? Do you think these questions have been left vague?
Look, I'll answer your question, but first I have to push back against a number of the blatant falsehoods promoted by your previous guest, from Tel Aviv paying salaries of Hamas, it was Doha, it was Qatar paying Hamas's salaries, to the outrageous allegation of genocide, which is intended to cover up for Hamas. There is a name for the crisis in the Middle East. That name is war. Hamas declared war on Israel 2 years ago with an act of genocide. That's what the October 7th massacre was. The Hamas regime invaded with the intent of murdering as many Israelis as possible because its goal is to destroy this country. Hamas is genuinely genocidal. And Israel is fighting a war now to prevent that terrorist army from having the ability to perpetrate further acts of genocide against Israel. It has a goal. The goal is the dismantling of Hamas's terrorist army. And it has been fighting against a terrorist regime that has been fighting from 500 kilometers of tunnels under people's feet, fighting out of civilian clothes, hijacking aid when Israel has let in over 2 million tons of aid into the Gaza Strip, and with no help from the international community, every time Israel urges civilians to move for their own safety out of Hamas strongholds, so that they can be kept safe while Israel targets the jihadists who are firing missiles at Israel and torturing hostages underground. And I'll answer your question. Yes, President Trump has left the part 2 of the deal vague. What he's done is separate the hostage ransom talks from the way we end the war. And he's made clear, first, the hostages have to come out. There is no excuse for Hamas to hold them, and it cannot continue to hold them as insurance to survive the war that it started. And then there will be a discussion about how Hamas is going to be dismantled. But here's the key point. Everyone agrees that Hamas is going to have to be dismantled, so it cannot drag the region into another regional war again. Hopefully, it will engage in good faith in a process to give up its arms. But if it does not, Israel is going to have no choice but to take those missiles off Hamas, to destroy Hamas's tunnels, so that it cannot launch another war like it did 2 years ago.
Right. I believe Mr. Ali Ibrahim has also acknowledged that point, that Hamas does need to be dismantled. Now, Mr. Ali Ibrahim, just to take that forward, no hostages, no peace. Where do you stand on this?
Definitely. I mean, they have to be abided by the peace proposal by President Donald Trump, and this is given. I mean, they have to reach an agreement, but you have to be genuine and you have to have the attention of actually reaching this agreement. But just a little bit to go to Mr. Levy, you know, absolutely on October 7, 2023, Hamas waged a war. And you're calling it a war by a militia that they're nobody comparing to what Israel has from weapon and what America is backing up Israel. But you guys also managed to genocide and kill some people in the West Bank, and the West Bank never did anything to you. So on that case, what we say is self-defense is not a license for a collective punishment. You cannot do collective punishment of people. They are innocent. We don't like this for the Israelis. We don't like this for a bunch of animals. We don't like this. You know, we accepted you guys in 1948, and we accepted you in this region. And we are here to coexist, all of us. The only cell in the whole Middle East that cannot coexist with their neighbors, and Mr. Netanyahu has put a big flat screen with the new borders of Israel from Sinai to the Farat in Iraq. This is what you plan, and we're part of my country, which is Saudi Arabia. How do you like me to put a map for you that I have Tel Aviv under the capital or under the country of Kuwait or Doha? And by the way, to your point, Doha was funding the money to Hamas through the paymaster, and the paymaster was Tel Aviv.
I'm sorry, I need to push back against the serious historical revisionism here. First of all, the Arab world did not accept Israel's existence and still does not. When Israel was declared, the entire Arab world invaded with the goal of destroying this country. And your country, Saudi Arabia, still does not recognize Israel. I hope it does, and I hope we will have peace soon.
Mr. Levy. Mr. Levy, we hear you. Thank you so much for making that point. And Mr. Ali Ibrahim, we hear you as well. Once again, the question, however, in the days forward, what we are seeking clarity on is whether there's legitimacy, enforceability, and inclusion in this peace plan, and whether it can be efficaciously implemented. That's something that remains to be seen. Both of you, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. We just do not have enough time to get into that right now, but thank you so much for making your point. We just want our viewers to leave the show better informed. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Sure.